Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting installment of Valhalla gameplays. I am your host, the mad scientist Miles Lord, and today we have a very special installment for you. I know they are all so very special, but this one is extremely special. Why? It is our 100 subscribers episode. Yes, indeed, we hit 100 subscribers, and to you we bring today a 2-map, what might be considered a really shitty WAD, but fun nonetheless. UAC Labs, made by the infamous Eric Harris, one of the perpetrators of the Columbine killings in Colorado. On the horn today, we have Black Metal Chainsaw and Camo Duke, both members of the UAC Death Squad. Say hello to everyone, Camo Duke and Black Metal Chainsaw.
What's up, dude?
What's up, dude?
What's good? What's good? What's going on? So what is this again we're playing today?
UAC Labs.
Oh yeah.
That's the name of the WAD.
That
which
is
I didn't know until just now.
Indeed, there you go. UAC Labs. Again, made by.
I knew it existed.
You didn't know this existed.
I knew it existed. I saw it, documentaries and stuff like that where this was included. I just didn't know this was what it was called.
Ah, yes. Indeed. So, yeah, back in '96, that was the. I think it was '96. That was the big mass shooting, right? Eric Harris and some other kid. I don't know. I don't think it's worth glorifying them, but they were. This kind of put a stigma for Doom back in the day. I mean,
Yeah.
Was it like modeled after the school or something like that?
I don't believe so. I don't know. Was it?
I've heard rumors there was. I think parts of it were, or maybe they construed it as such.
Because I'm looking through this, I'm like, man.
Talked about it and said you wished.
You know, I have heard the rumor before that it was such, that it was designed after it, but after playing through it, I don't know, man. This is the creepiest, weirdest school ever.
I mean,
yeah. It might have just been like the basic room layout. I don't know that it's like I'm pretty sure this room that we're in here right now with the BFG was supposed to be like the cafeteria. This is like the lunch line, and this is the center where all the tables are, and then this is an outlook where like look outside. There's like a giant window.
Interesting. I had no idea. Makes
So,
this
yeah,
even
that's what
creepier.
I heard. I don't know. Yeah.
I know I don't have any ammo.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
there's no ammo.
As far as the shittiness of this level is concerned, that was my biggest concern, right? No ammo whatsoever. None.
It doesn't seem that bad, but I mean, I guess it's weird.
Yeah, the map isn't really that bad, but
It seems like it was made by someone who just didn't give a shit.
It's very bland, I will say.
And there's an arch file. It's cute.
oh, did you guys make it to that part
Oh.
already? Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it just got real, huh?
Yeah, there's an arch file. Shit just got rid of. I mean, the time
And then everything just starts spawning in.
Yeah, there's. God. That went from 1 to 100 in like a second.
In a second, yeah. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, I really did. I was like, ooh, arch file.
Ooh, pretty.
That's the one thing I will say about this. I'm like, dude, if you were playing this, you know, single player, not brutal, I don't see you making it to the second map.
No.
Yeah,
It's hard enough and brutal.
Well, yeah, and we're playing multiplayer, which gives us like infinite lives because we're playing co-op. You know, and if we were playing, you know, single player, you know, campaign, well, as soon as you die, you go back to the beginning. Like, how the heck could you actually beat this?
That
So-
one frag grenade you get in the beginning helped me out a lot.
That's a good idea, actually. I have to remember that.
the one.
And did you guys find the 2 backpacks? In the secret?
No.
It's at the beginning. Oh, dude.
Oh, well, I have to go look for it. I've been coming back here and collecting all of the plasma.
Yeah, I did find the plasma cell on the lunch line.
Huh. And the lunch line, he's even calling it. I'm interested. I haven't played map 2
Yeah.
yet. It'll be interesting to see what that will come up with. I just want in here. I just want these. Thank you. Okay. Oh god, dead.
Yeah, I feel like this map was designed to be frustrating on purpose almost. You know, I don't know, like, it just seems like someone was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and like, because you know he had to have played through this, and
Because you have
been
to
like,
test it.
okay, this is,
Oh,
yeah.
Who
I
pulled?
found the exit.
Oh, yes, you did. Right on, cool. Let's continue on. That was getting crazy anyways. It's all good.
I saved us, it's okay.
You saved us from that monotony of killing everything.
Only to be delivered into something even worse, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah, let's see what map 2 brings us. Should be interesting.
VGP. Sorry.
BFG everywhere.
The only one I have ammo for, so.
Right?
No, I lied. I have shotgun shells. Sorry. Sorry,
I
Cameron.
don't. I'm completely out of everything. And there's a helmet. Jesus.
He got you good.
Dude, I got a super shotgun. I don't know where I got this, but yeah, thank you. Jesus, thank you so much. I can, now that I'm looking at this, I can more see it like a cafeteria setup.
Yeah.
Or not a cafeteria, like a
The
school
more that
setup.
you think about it, the more weird it gets.
Yeah, that's kind of true, huh? Interesting. Ah!
Yeah,
Invisipinky!
and it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter if it's modeled after anything real. It's just the fact that, you know,
Now that we've
like,
thought
this
about it.
was actually made by a really fucking disturbed individual.
That is very true. Now, again, a lot of people, like even ordinary Farside's like, what, you have this up on the server? Because it sucks, right? But I think a lot of people too, ooh, backpack. I think a lot of people too, you know, equate this with giving Doomers a bad name. What would you say to that? Has it given Doomers a bad name, and in 2016 has that travesty affected violence in video games?
I don't think this map gave Doomers a bad name. I think everyone else used this map to give Doomers a bad name.
Well, I'm not saying this map. I'm saying like what Eric Harris did.
Well, just this, yeah, the whole event. But this map is sort of like, it's, you know, but yeah. I think it's easy for people to put the blame on something, because, I don't know, people get scared when something terrible happens, and rightfully so, but I think people are quick to jump to conclusions about, like, you know, something that's new, and Doom at the time was very new, and it was very scary because of how violent it was. And, you know, we laugh at how, you know, it's representation of violence now compared to, you know, modern games, but back then that was, like, that was creepy shit.
That is so true.
You know, it was very easy to say, oh, well, this is why this happened, because look how realistic the shooter is, you know, it made him want to kill everyone. When really he was just a crazy person.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you. I think that
would have happened anyways.
Yeah, that's very true. There would have been some other catalyst or some other way that he would have vented, right?
Yeah, it might have been, you know, a month later, but it still would have happened.
Right. Or, you know, it would have been a different medium, you know. Maybe he, instead of creating a map, he would have written a book or made a comic book or something. Or whatever, you know.
Exactly.
It was Doom is the way that he oh my god, arch files galore and no ammo. Thank you very much. Holy moly.
Yeah, I just grabbed those backpacks in the beginning for ammo. and grenades.
So what do you think about violence in video games? Do you think that it's made you a more violent person?
I don't. I get there's a lot of those quote-unquote studies where, you know, kids or just people in general who play a lot of video games, but especially kids because of how young they are. You know, it makes them more aggressive, and it
Sorry,
makes them
Miles.
I know, that was funny.
when it comes to killing, because it sort of gives them that, like, you know, predator instinct. You know, I've heard studies where that's what happens, but I just honestly, to me, if you're a violent person, you're going to do I mean, look at how much crazy, violent, twisted shit we did before video games existed.
You know, that is very true, actually. Including, like...
We as humans don't need video games to do violent things, trust me. We're
Well,
good at on our own.
Could you say that maybe video games are like the new way of, you know, that being an outlet so that we don't have to, like, I don't know, have... Oh my god, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, actual violence.
Yeah, actual violence. Instead, we have virtual violence to fulfill that fantasy.
Well, I mean, people from behind a computer screen, they can say and do whatever they want, and they feel like they don't have any consequences for it.
As far as a video
And in
game
a
is
sense,
concerned?
They don't.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they can say whatever they want to somebody, and, you know, they can't really do anything about it. 'Cause, I mean, they don't know if that person's even real.
Right. I mean, there is that aspect as well. there is definitely that
People
aspect
do
as well.
anything to hurt somebody else, so
Hmm.
if you really wanted to hurt somebody, you'll do whatever you can to do it.
Hmm. That is very true, huh? But I feel, you know, I don't know. Again, if I think about like gladiatorial events and, you know, slavery and things like that, we live in an age where things aren't as bad, and we are so very privileged. I think I may have exited the level.
They're really not. I mean, people like to think that the time they live in is the worst,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not really like that. There's less death in the world now than there was, you know, at any other point in our history, I think.
I think that yeah, there's way less death. That does bring into idea like, wow, how many people are actually on this planet right now? It's pretty crazy to think.
Yeah.
I mean, my view on the whole thing is there's a big difference between a psychopath and somebody who just makes maps.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I mean,
But the whole thing about just like finding something to blame, that's probably true.
Yeah, I mean, as humans, we all have a violent streak. I mean, to deny that is to just be dishonest. But the difference is some people have that extra, you know, thing in their mind that's like, okay, I don't want to do this because I would feel bad. This is not right. I'm going to be a good person. A crazy person doesn't have that, and they'll just do whatever the fuck they want, regardless of whether a video game tells them to or not, because they're crazy.
because they're crazy. Ain't that the truth, huh?
I think what we should focus on is what actually causes violent behavior in people, because, you know, it really is true. I mean, there's going to be violent people whether there's games or not. We need to focus on why that is, not whether games are doing it.
What would, in your opinion, would cause violent outbursts in people? Or the propensity to be more violent past passive?
I think some of it can be just, you know, a culmination of abuse over time. I mean, there's people who, you know, they have a really rough childhood and they just, you know, they don't learn those do's and don'ts of what is acceptable in society, so they just kind of go around doing whatever. I mean, you know, if they live in a violent household, they think it's okay to be violent because that's what they're familiar with. And then, you know, there's traumatic events that push someone over the edge, and then there's just bad eggs. There's just people who are born terrible people.
Interesting. Interesting
I don't know,
perspective.
sometimes the whole thing about like stuff that happens at schools, it might have been other people pushing that person to that point. Whatever they might have said or done, they could have done it just the right amount where they lost their shit.
Yeah, I
So-
can agree with that. I don't think bullying, sorry to cut you off.
That's all good.
I don't think bullying is an excuse for that. You know, I mean,
No, definitely
I for one was bullied a lot in high school, and, you know, I never got to the point where I thought, okay, I'm just gonna kill everyone. You know, I mean, I definitely wanted to, but it wasn't like I was, you know what I mean? Like I knew that okay, this isn't good. This isn't what people, you know. And I think every kid who's bullied at some point goes through that. They're just like, oh my god, I can't take this shit anymore. But they're a good person, so they know, okay, well, I'm just gonna deal with it. You know, I'm gonna do whatever. I'm not gonna fucking lose it.
See, I've always been the type to take it up on the individual level, right? Like, if someone's fucking with you, well, you fuck with them back. Specifically that person, not like, you know, take out a whole school. Shit.
It's, yeah, there is a certain extent, there is like putting up, you know, sticking up for yourself. I was never the kid that really stuck up for myself. I just kind of like took it. But, you know, usually when people don't put up with that kind of stuff, they usually don't have problems like that. Nothing builds up because they know that they're just going to handle it on the spot. A lot of kids that can't stick up for themselves, you know, it piles on, and it gets to the point where they're like, okay, I've put up with this long enough, and they just do terrible shit.
It's sad to see in our country, and it's sad to see that you know, mass murder still occurs. And we've seen that recently in Colorado again, in Aurora, with the shootings at the theater there. We've also seen it in several other places in the United States. What do you think now? What do you think is up? What's going on in the world that there are more mass shootings than ever, and people are starting to kind of lose their shit more and more?
I don't know. Personally, I think it has something to do with like not being educated. It's not completely, but I don't know. A lot of the hateful shit that happens around here where I live is because people don't know.
Because they don't know any better? Or?
No, they're not educated about everything that they could be, if that makes sense.
I can
it's
kind of
like the
agree with
racism
that.
kind of thing.
Yeah, that's...
So you think it's because of like racism and ignorance that we have like elevated violence now?
I would say that's probably a good part of it, yeah.
Because I actually live around the same area, and she's right. There's a lot of hate. It's not so much racism, but there's a lot of you know, like the whole transsexual community, the whole LGBT thing. There's a lot of like hatred towards that around here.
Interesting.
Everyone just can't stand those kind of people. It's just the way the culture is, and there's a lot of hatred.
Interesting. Are there a lot of transgender people where you're at?
I don't even know where Paris is.
Yeah.
How are they supposed to? Yeah, like they literally, like it's funny, but it's true.
Yeah.
They're pretty fucking clueless.
Maybe I shouldn't laugh at that, but yeah. Well, you do have a.
It is kind of funny, but still, like these people have an education, is what they say, and they're okay with having that mentality. They don't care about being more educated because what they know and what they think is right, and nobody tells them that it's not.
That isn't
when
it.
they do, they just get defensive, and it's like, oh, you're trying to attack my culture.
Interesting. Interesting.
So I haven't
You see that a little bit everywhere. You know, you see that a little bit everywhere too.
It's for different people in different areas.
Indeed. Like here, I live in an area where it's predominantly Hispanic, and you experience a little bit of a different type of racism where people don't like white people, or they don't like people that act white. You know, I've never heard in my life like you talk white and things like that, and never thought I'd be told that. You know, and that's the kind of ignorance that you face here. And people tend to like tribe up. You know, they tribe together to be that, to continue on that per se culture. But it's like this inbreeding of ideas where nothing grows, everything stagnates. And that is the sad part of it. So I think we really hit on something today, huh? Like violence and mass hatred only spurred on by violence itself. Or I'm sorry, by ignorance itself.
I mean,
Fear,
I feel like that
too.
because I mean, if
Fear
people
and ignorance,
knew
I guess,
and, like,
is
felt, yeah, if people knew and felt the way that, let's say that they just felt the way that they cared about the people that they cared about towards people that they didn't know, it'd be a lot different. Because I mean, people are raised like that sometimes. Like their parents are that way, so they don't know any better. Because the parents are like that. They never told them no. They never told them, oh, well, hey, just because somebody is different or thinks something, thinks differently, does not mean that you should hate them. Because a lot of the times, if it's different than what society wants, quote unquote, then it's okay to hate that person because everybody else does. Because everybody else grew up that way and thinks that way. So it's normal.
It makes it acceptable in their eyes.
Yeah.
It's like I said, like that inbreeding of ideas. Like everyone thinks the same thought, even if it's wrong.
Yeah, because well, they don't know any better.
Right. Exactly. Crazy.
And then the people who do feel this way try to tell them, and then they get so pissed off
Interesting thought.
that they don't listen.
Interesting thought. Well, this is one thing that I wanted to really bring up tonight as far as the Doom community is concerned. Like, I think that Eric Harris is bullshit upon the Doom community. And his map sucks. His map set sucks, bottom line.
I don't think he really belongs in it.
Yeah. So, now that we've visited this, good, great, now we can move on. But one thing I do want to make known to people that might just be watching this or like don't know a lot about people who play multiplayer Doom or continue on this tradition of making maps and mods for an amazing engine. Well, I'll tell you what, this is the most loving, beautiful video game community I've ever been a part of. Even the haters and trolls aren't as redundant and asinine as other fucking communities, at least people here are very creative. And yeah, I'd say that if you wanted to be a part of a video game community that was, creative, loving, and supportive of each other, the Doom community would be just that. We, even in deathmatch, we play together and have fun,
It's like a mosh pit. If you fall down, we'll pick you up.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Doom community is like a mosh pit. Well, alright. Well, thanks for tuning in this week to Valhalla Gameplays. Thank you, Sergeant Mark, for joining. Lady Slash for joining. Good to always have you in the house. Camo Duke, Black Metal Chainsaw, thanks for being on the horn. It's always a pleasure having you in the house. And I really appreciate your guys' perspective.
Hey, no problem. Anytime.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. The map sucked, but
Yeah.
It was a fun conversation. We should definitely do this again. Oh my god, all of these. The Jib Fest. So, everyone enjoy this last bit of jibs on my way out. And thanks for joining. Share the love. Be nice to each other. And we will see you next time.